Dr. Loosely observed that in Aleppo, many old men opted to play backgammon outdoors on Sunday morning rather than attend the liturgy. Many young Christians simply left the country. She suspected that their disenchantment had something to do with their historical disconnect. She wrote, "These men were alienated from the church through ignorance and needed to be educated about their past." She decided to do something about it. In 1997, she began taking groups of Christians from Aleppo to the limestone massif to the west of the city in order to examine the inscriptions and carvings they found there. She explained the symbols carved and scratched into walls and churches and homes. The Syrians in her groups ranged in age from late teens through senior citizens. Together, she discussed with them how this kind of cultural awareness tied them more closely to the land than they had previously thought. In turn, this caused them to question their self-imposed perception of themselves as outsiders and to think in terms of a wider Syrian identity. She brought a deacon along, and the group prayed together in the ancient ruins. And it worked. The older folks were fascinated to learn the meaning and antiquity of the symbols of their faith, and they went back to church. The women's Bible study groups from the city parishes started organizing their own pilgrimages to the ghost towns, and Dr. Loosely found that young people who had taken her tours ended up as the citizens least likely to emigrate. Such is the power of the faith, ever ancient, ever new, when the ancient symbols are proclaimed anew. The lesson has universal applications. I believe that the same principles apply, by extension, to Westerners who take up the study of the symbols of Christian antiquity. American Christians, after all, learn little of our religious history in the public schools, and we can, at times, feel somewhat alien in this land of abortion license. But Christians who truly know the cross, and the fish, and the lamb, and the lighting of the lamps, those who truly know the ancient symbols of the Church's doctrines and rites, are Christians who are rooted in the faith, and they know their roots run very deep indeed. They are less likely to leave the community, less likely to take interest in another religion, and less likely to choose backgammon over liturgy on a Sunday morning. This is not a work of scholarship, but an act of devotion, an act of piety toward our ancestors, so that we might learn to see the world once again with their eyes, and to pray and live as they once prayed and lived.